Okay, welcome to the deep dive. We're going straight to uh, a problem I think many of you listening will recognize,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're, leading a team or maybe you're on one. It's that feeling. When everyone is working incredibly hard, the wheels are definitely spinning.
Yeah, you see the activity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's this kind of quiet drain on energy. Motivation just seems to be leaking away somehow.
It is a bit of a paradox, isn't it? You've got all this effort, but the morale is low.
Right.
Teams are busy. Maybe they're even hitting deadlines for tasks, but they seem disconnected from the bigger picture, the why behind it all.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what our source for this deep dive gets into. It's a post by Gunther Williams called The Power of Visibility, Why Great Leaders Make Impact Obvious.
Okay.
And he really zeroes in on this.
Yeah.
Williams talks about seeing this disturbing pattern in companies.
Where the effort is there.
Tremendous effort, yeah. But, and this is the crucial bit, the teams are never really seeing the tangible outcome of that work.
So the actual impact, the value they're creating, it's basically invisible to them.
Precisely. And he doesn't pull any punches. He calls that invisible impact an absolute motivation killer. Strong word.
Yeah. Motivation killer.
So our mission today is really to unpack what this source is saying. Why specifically is this lack of visibility so damaging? We'll draw on the mechanisms Williams points to.
Right.
And then, really importantly, dive into the practical, sort of actionable methods he shares for actually making that impact undeniable, making it visible.
Because from this perspective, it's not just a nice to have for a leader, is it? It's fundamental. It's the fuel.
That's what he argues. It's the fuel for the team's drive.
Yeah. And he links it to something in the brain, right? The seeking system.
He does. Tell us about that.
Well, it's apparently this, powerful neurological drive. It fuels our engagement, our curiosity, keeps us going.
Okay.
And this system really thrives on evidence.
Yeah.
Evidence that what we're doing is actually leading somewhere worthwhile.
So if that connection between effort, the hard work, and a meaningful outcome,
Yeah.
if that's broken or hidden,
Then that whole intrinsic engine just sputters. It loses power.
okay, let's dig into that a bit more. This idea that our brains aren't just wired to do tasks, but to actively seek the results.
The rewards of those tasks.
And when you're just like doing stuff in a vacuum, you don't see the effect.
Yeah.
It's like that core motivational driver is just starving.
It really is. Think of it maybe like being in a relay race, a really long, intense one.
Okay.
You run your leg flat out, you pass the baton, but you never see the finish line. You don't even know if your speed helped the next person.
Right, you just get told, run faster. That's it.
Exactly. Eventually you just think, why? Why am I running so hard? Without seeing where the effort actually lands, the brain gets fewer of those positive feedback signals, the ones that reinforce engagement.
Yeah, that image of running hard on a treadmill but essentially going nowhere,
Yeah.
that really clicks here. So, okay, if invisible impact is the poison, how does Williams suggest leaders administer the antidote? He gives 3 practical approaches, doesn't he? Things he's seen actually work.
He does. 3 key ways to make impact visible.
What's the first one?
The first pillar is about creating direct exposure
Direct exposure to what?
to the end results, or even better, the beneficiaries of the work. It means actively closing that gap between the team doing the work and the people or systems their work actually affects.
And the source gives some really concrete examples, right? This isn't just theory.
No.
Like putting developers, say, in front of real customers using the thing they built.
Exactly that. Or having service teams hear directly from people whose problems they solved, whose lives were maybe improved.
That makes sense.
He shares this one example, a product development team. They started doing these monthly customer spotlight sessions. And the engineers, the designers, they literally got to watch real users navigate their software. See them struggling with old stuff, but then see them really succeeding with the new features they'd built.
And what happened?
Well, what's really compelling in the source is the result they reported. That specific team saw, get this, a 37% increase in motivation scores.
Wow, 37%, just from seeing their work in action.
Within a single quarter after starting it, yeah.
That's incredible validation, isn't it? It takes it from abstract tasks on a list to
tangible contributions, seeing the difference.
right. So direct exposure connects the team to the who and the how. What's the second method Williams talks about?
The second one is about establishing clear line-of-sight metrics.
Line of sight metrics. Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It's basically about creating transparency. making it so that every single person on the team, doesn't matter what their role is, can clearly trace how their specific work, their tasks, their contributions link directly up to the bigger picture, the wider organizational goals, the positive outcomes.
So it's more than just like sticking company KPIs up on a dashboard somewhere.
Oh yeah, much more. It's about showing the chain, the causal link.
Right, from the code I write or the report I analyze or the process improvement I make.
How that ripples upwards, how it actually contributes to hitting a significant business target or maybe even a societal goal, making that connection really explicit and crucially visible.
Okay.
Williams mentions this healthcare client example. They put up dashboard screens with real-time data.
Right. Pretty standard stuff.
But here's the key bit. The data wasn't just operational numbers. It visually showed how the daily work of the staff, everyone from nurses to admin folks, was collectively improving key patient health outcomes.
So you could actually see the needle moving on patient well-being, for instance.
Exactly.
And know that the things you did that day, that week, directly fed into that positive trend you're seeing on the screen.
Right. It shifts the whole perspective, doesn't it? From just, I need to finish my shift,
to I'm actively improving patient lives, like the source suggests.
yeah,
It elevates the routine stuff.
makes it feel purpose-driven. And it really hammers home that data isn't just for management reports.
Right. It's a tool for motivation, too, for connecting individual effort to that collective impact.
Yeah.
Making that seeking system.
Light up at every level of the team.
That's a really powerful way to think about data. Okay, so we've got direct exposure, and we've got clear line-of-sight metrics. What's the third practical approach from Williams?
The third one is about celebrating progress milestones, but doing it in a meaningful way.
Meaningful celebration. Okay.
Williams really stresses this point. If you wait until the very, very end of some huge, long project before you acknowledge any success,
You miss opportunities.
you miss countless chances to refuel that motivation along the way. Recognition needs like a rhythm. It needs to be tied to specific, real achievements as they happen.
And I guess the key words there are meaningful and specific, right? Not just a generic good job.
Absolutely. Specificity is huge, according to the source. He contrasts two ways you might acknowledge something.
Okay.
Like just saying, hey, good job on the database update. Okay, fine.
Versus.
Versus saying something like, okay, everyone, by successfully migrating that customer database, Sarah's team reduced query times by 30%, and that directly enabled our support staff to resolve customer issues 15% faster this week.
Okay. That is a world of difference.
Isn't it?
The first one acknowledges the task, the database update. The second one highlights the value and the impact.
Faster queries, faster issue resolution, that's the fuel for the seeking system we talked about.
Right. It connects the effort directly to a concrete positive result for other people, the support team, and then ultimately the customer.
It validates all that hard work with tangible results that matter.
So putting it all together, by intentionally using these three strategies, direct exposure to beneficiaries, clear visible metrics linking tasks to goals, and celebrating specific, meaningful progress points.
Leaders can actively fight back against that motivation killer, the invisible impact.
And the source is pretty clear. These aren't just, nice ideas. They're practical things that have genuinely turned disengaged teams around.
Yeah, into energized ones. It's all about intentionally closing that feedback loop.
Makes sense.
When people, individuals, and the whole team can consistently see and really understand the positive ripple effect of what they do.
The energy comes back.
Exactly. The energy returns and the purpose behind the work becomes, well, brilliantly clear.
This has been a really useful deep dive, unpacking that framework from Gunther Williams' post. It definitely underscores that making impact visible. It's not secondary.
No, it's essential. Absolutely essential for keeping that energy and motivation high.
Right. And those three practical methods we pulled from the source are key takeaways.
Yeah. Direct exposure to the people who benefit.
Clear line-of-sight metrics connecting the dots.
And celebrating those specific, meaningful milestones along the way. Concrete actions leaders can actually take.
Definitely. And to wrap things up, the source leaves us, and you listening, with a really pointed question. It builds perfectly on all this. Something for you to really think about. Can everyone on your team clearly articulate the impact of their work from just the last week?
And maybe frame that question not as some kind of test, but more as an opportunity.
Yeah.
An opportunity based on these insights. If the answer isn't a clear yes across the board, well, maybe it's time to explore how you could boost that visibility of impact right in your own area.